Sir, a very warm welcome and good evening to everyone gathered here. I, Arpit, on behalf of the Scopes team, welcome you all to Tantra and the closing ceremony of Prabodhan 2021, the annual supply chain and operation conclave of GIM. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and thank our respected faculty members for joining us this evening and making it so bright. This evening, we are so delighted to have Mr. Sovik Mazumdar, sir, the CEO of Sesa Goa Iron Ore Business and also heading the Ferrochrome Business Vedanta Limited. It is a great honor, sir, to have yours with us today. A heartfelt welcome to you, sir. Let us start the event with introduction of Mr. Sovik Mazumdar, sir. I would like to invite my team member Sushmita. Over to you.
Thank you, Arpit. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Souvik Mazumdar is spearheading the iron ore business within India, Goa, and Karnataka. Along with value-added business, he has an extensive experience with highly engineered systems and is proven operation strategist and performance-driven with track record in leading complex improvement initiatives by applying sound technical research and analytical abilities. Mr. Souvik Mazumdar joined the company in 1994 and has been a significant driver of Sesa Goa iron ore's growth over the years. He is presently responsible for the overall operations and expansion projects of the iron ore business. His dedicated efforts on the sustainability front has created a robust safety awareness and HSE culture in the organization. His thrust on adopting best-in-class techniques, innovation, state-of-the-art environment-friendly technologies, and the automation of operational activities has added a greater value. With an experience of over 2 decades, he has led high-performance teams and has handled various senior positions, including steering the engineering management leadership during the mining ban. Souvik sir began his career as graduate engineer training with Sesa Goa and rose to the current rank with sheer passion and dedication to his role. With this, once again, I would like to extend warm welcome from Goa Institute of Management. We are very honored to have you here, sir, and I'm sure the students will get to learn a lot. The floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, friends. It is so great to see such young minds in front of me. Of course, today the new normal is having the meetings in virtual platform. Even though you can get the energy, but the moment you are meeting face to face, the quantum of energy assimilates in your body from the young minds. That maybe to some extent it goes dies down a little bit when you are meeting virtual platform. But it is great to see all of you, and I'm sure in next 40-45 minutes I'll get enriched with lot of thoughts and value which will be coming from all of you. First and foremost, I wish all of you a very, very happy New Year 2021. Before I start the main content of my talk, I would like to transport you back near about say year back, that is on 22nd March 2020. You remember what is that? That is the day of the lockdown. That was never ever witnessed by any one of us before. First time in the history of 170 years, the Indian railways were totally shut, not even moving a single rail. There was a fear of an unseen virus all across. Those days there was no hospitals which were ready. There was short supply on PPEs, masks, sanitizers, ventilators, medicines, and other health facilities. There was huge amount of migrant crisis. There was a healthcare crisis, economic crisis, and slowly the corona cases have gone up to almost more than 1 lakh cases per day. And today, precisely after 367 days and of the COVID-19 first case which was detected, that was on 30th Jan 2020, we all know at which positions we are. Today, the healthcare sector, all the other sector, the ancillary sector, the way they have bounced back, they have created an opportunity out of this crisis is second to none. India is second to none in that. In fact, sometime in June, July, when all the economic pundits all across the globe, they were talking about India. They were saying that, this year India will be doomed. It will be minus 12% growth, right? 130 crores of people, 1.3 billion of people. What will happen to India? There was a luminous all across, everywhere. But you see, what was the wisdom of the Indian, diaspora or Indian people? I still remember that time, apart from, all other industrialists who had gone against those type of ranking of, IMF and all other pundits, economic pundits. I remember very specifically what Ratan Tata said during that time. Mr. Tata said that, in my 90 years of life, I have seen many crises. Of course, this crisis is, it is unparalleled. I have never seen something like that. I have seen many economic pundits giving many of the, economic philosophies, right? And how the growth projection or how the, economic projection will be. But one thing the pundits always fail to, mitigate or navigate or understand, that is the power of the human mind. Correct? They can do all arithmetical calculation, but then they somehow can't catch the power of the human mind. And that is why I believe that this minus 10, minus 12, it will be only for the economic pundits analogy. But in reality, this economy, Indian economy, because of the sheer power of the human mind of Indians, will bounce back much faster and much stronger. And let me tell you, my dear friends, this is exactly what has happened. We have all seen right from September, October, how the economy has bounced back. And being a person who is there in this economic cycle, be it in commodity or in many other things, people like us also are quite camouflaged, like what has happened, how it can bounce back. And then we realized, right, the power of the human brain. And that power is basically making Indians are totally separated from the rest of the world. Today, IMF is saying that we are the only nation that is going to have a double-digit growth in 2021. Yesterday, the UNCTAD, that is telling that this year India is the only country which have got double-digit FDI across the globe, beaten China in percentage terms also. Our share of market today, it is around 50,000 mark. Today, no migrant crisis, the hue and cry which was there during that time. The COVID cases are below 5,000 mark a day. Please remember today, the stronger economies, there the COVID cases are much more than even in lakh today per day. Our PDS, public distribution system, this is turned out to be the best in the world, catering almost to the tune of 80 crore people, as massive digitization also has happened in last 6 to 7 months, which you have not understood. The age-old PDS, जिसको हम लोग कभी ना कभी जिंदगी में गाली भी दिया करते थे, those PDS have come for rescue of 80 crore people, and very slowly, without even letting any one of us know, there is a massive digitization also has taken place. The vaccination program, again, I mean, as Prime Minister said, that this is, and it is indeed the world's largest vaccination program, where also, not only the PDS has been taken care of, but then they are taking a huge amount of digitization drive in that entire vaccination program. So, my dear friends, if this is not crisis to opportunity, then what it is? I think the entire Indian ecosystem has shown huge amount of resilience for showing this crisis to opportunity. I mean, I have seen in Panjim some of the, the what do you call, small gada owners, right? Bada Pav owner and some of the, rasa omelette owners, right? Whose shops are closed. But then today, all of a sudden, I mean, you'll not believe, I found that, they have they have created a good amount of space for themselves in the city of Panjim, and they have created a big sort of, outlet, given a nice, beautiful name. And initially I thought that, it may be some sort of chain. And then I found that it is the same old fellow who used to sell bhaji pav or bada pav in the streets of Panjim. And today he is a shop owner. And when I started talking to him, and then this fellow is saying, sir, I never imagined that I have got so much of parts to take a shop, and started a shop and started this business, which is really, I feel that, like I can start even 3-4 more shops in 3-4 other cities. This is what? It is not only crisis to opportunity, this is stepping out of your comfort zone. So this crisis has made all of us to step out from the comfort zone, and then we all realize what we are capable of. This all crisis really provides us the unique new learning opportunities, my dear friends, which is the sort of predominant thing for building a strong, motivated, and passionate team. Strong processes and protocols, time management, crisis management, and thinking critically are the most important skills that are enable turning, that will enable turning of this crisis into opportunity. And let me tell you, my dear friend, today, even the campus hiring, okay, I'm sure most of the big companies will rethink on the way they will be doing their campus hiring. They will try to find out the person or give higher mark to the person, not only basis of their merits, but basis of their thinking ability, crisis management ability, right? Because that will be the mantra for year to come. I would like to give you some few examples. Mahindra started making ventilators. Reliance, they exported PPEs. They started making PPEs in a big manner, huge quantity. They are also getting into breath analyzer. They have already got into breath analyzer test kit business. Alcohol company started sanitizer, making sanitizer, and that is, of course, all world over. They started doing that. In fact, at Vedanta, let me tell you, you're very next door. I think you can, from your campus, you can see a big, steel plant which is there at Amona, right? And you can see the chimneys of that plant from your campus. And let me tell you, in the midst of Corona, when the Corona crisis started sometime in February, and that time the furnace was supposed to go for a relining. It is a major relining. It's a major job, right? Almost near about, say, 150-200 crore worth rupees job. And the contract was awarded initially to a Dutch company, very well-known Dutch company. But then the moment Corona outbreak happened, before India, in Europe, it was more. And the Dutch company immediately, they said that they can't do anything. So finally, we had to go to China. And then there was a Chinese company who took that entire, contract of getting this relining done. And then huge Corona crisis were then in India from March. And it all happened in February, March. Then what to do? So they came up along with our team with the thought process that, well, we'll appoint an Indian partner. Okay. So they searched for an Indian partner, they appointed an Indian partner. Now the point is, the entire material, this is a huge blast furnace. This is not a sort of, motor company or something. So it's a huge blast furnace, huge parts. So that entire shipments has to come from China. A sort of, very pinpointed engineering job which has to be completed. There also, near about, say, 100-150 Chinese experts were supposed to come. Now they also could not come. Not only Corona, even the Doklam issue also was there. So we also did not want, those issues to be flared up here. So we said that, sorry, you can't come, but you'll have to find a way how to help us. And then, believe it or not, perhaps this will be the first project of this nature which has happened in virtual techniques. The entire experts sitting at Beijing, they were at virtually connected with the well-named partner which they have selected in India. 24/7 the job was going on, right? and the entire directions, entire thing was happening virtually. Only the people were working here, near about 1,000 people, all Indian people working on foot here, but the technical guidance, supervision, everything was done virtually. There are 3-4 drones which have covered the entire sort of, relining activities, entire engineering activities, and 24/7, the pictures were there at China, and they could visualize everything, right? So I mean, it is easier said than done, but I'll tell you, even it has opened a real eye even for me also. I also never thought that, this type of thing could happen. And I was in a sort of a self-blame that what is going to happen. And it's almost 200 crores of rupees also have gone. The furnace will be down. I really do not know what to do. But then people have done it. So this is the new normal. And this is what which is going to take the world now to a different level from now. Correct? So all of you are at a stage of life where the right decisions will decide your career path. Again, very important in today's scenario is out of the box thinking, doing things differently. See, these are all common sense, right? Whatever I'm talking is basically common sense. But let me tell you, my dear friend, common sense is the most uncommon thing. Even though it is called common sense, but it is the most uncommon thing to have, correct? And that will differentiate between you and other person. So please get this out of the box thinking and a sort of, try to do things differently, try to learn, right? Try to think that, what can I do? What can I do more? This will differentiate you from others. I wish you all the best and success in your career and have a wonderful and bright future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Let me just check if there are any questions that are coming from the students, sir.
I'll be very happy to answer.
Yeah.
With my wisdom.
Sure, sir. Anybody would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand. Otherwise, you can put up the questions in the chat box.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Am I audible? Yeah, hello, sir. Sir, I had one question. So basically,
can you tell me? Can you introduce yourself, because I can't see who are you?
Sure, sir. So my name is Mohit, and I'm pursuing my majors in operations management at JR. And my question to you is regarding post-COVID session, post-COVID era. What are the things that a manufacturing industry should consider to overcome the problems and challenges that they face, so that if any such scenarios repeat in the future, this kind of thing should not happen?
See, I think there are many. I mean, a couple of examples what I've given you when I was interacting with you guys. There are plenty of things, like the way the new normal has to take place, the way you should, first of all, it will start from your hiring now. Okay. I mean, gone are these days where only the toppers used to be given a huge amount of impetus. But today the hiring will start with the guy who can think differently. Okay. So it will start from the hiring. Second is the new normal will be come what may. Whatever COVID has taught us in terms of keeping the social distancing, keeping the hygiene. So that will be always there in all the, factory premises. And third is, in all the business planning exercise from now onwards for any of the businesses, the business risk, generally what used to consider earlier in certain way, the business risk is, that will be considered totally differently, right? We never used to consider earlier in terms of business risk, in terms of, a total 180-degree opposite scenario, what could happen. That type of scenario building in business risk will be now a new normal again. Business planning. Last but not the way the world will become smaller, the way the technology and the digitization will take shape today, wherein lesser amount of human intervention. I have given you the example of how the entire 200 crore project of a blast furnace relining has happened when the actual project people are not there at the site, right? So these are the new normal, what is going to happen for all the business segment from now onwards. I hope I could answer you.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
So we have one question from Saurav Tiwari. I'll read out the question for you.
Yes.
Now, since the companies know that they can run their business with lean human resource, now since we are moving back to normal, do you think the companies would like to hire like before?
No, sort of. Let me tell you. See, I think quantum of human resource in a company will not go down. Okay, so it is not with a question of whether it is lean. Yes, the companies will become lean. But I think the quality of the human resource will be a very important now. Okay, so therefore, as far as you guys are concerned, I don't think there will be any problem, right? But yes, but maybe at the shop floor level, there may be some effect. There may be some effect at the shop floor level. I mean, I'm talking about the workman level, but not as a sort of white collared guys level. I don't think there will be any sort of effect, because the minds will be always required. Okay, whether it is work from home or it is working from the office, because even for work from home also, like India, or for all the countries rather, but particularly in India, we are very novice as of now, right? So right now, what is happening is like the timing for the work from home is also starting, correct? Or otherwise, till now, what was there, that work from home, it is as if 24/7 somebody is there for work. So that cannot happen, right? So it was initial part, but then now slowly it is coming to a different type of level where even the work from home also, it will be like an office type of scenario. So I believe at mind stage, there will not be any effect.
All right, sir. So we'll move to the next question. I think Stanton, you have a question. You can please unmute yourself and go ask it.
Stanton is facing some network issues.
Yes, Stanley, sorry, I can't hear you. If you can just...
You can ask Vaikunt. Vaikunt, you can proceed with your question.
Okay. Hello, sir. I like your talk. I don't know if you remember me, but you are my former employer. I worked at Cesar for 3 years at Kodli Mines and Matcook Division. My question to you, sir, is how we can increase the contribution by manufacturing and mining towards our GDP. Currently, it is less than 20%, right? So how we can increase it? Also, we have to take care of environment while setting up mining and manufacturing facilities. We have to take care of environment, and there are so many clearances that we need to get. So what is the right way ahead?
Thanks, Vaikunt. So nice that like you're pursuing your dream over here. You see, you have asked a question actually which is very close to my heart, and in many different forums, we all talk about that. Because we are in a sort of business of commodity, right? Vedanta is in the business of iron ore, pig iron, steel, lead, zinc, silver, oil and gas, copper. So this is a pure commodity business, right? And then and these all commodities comes from the mining. Okay, so one part is, it is not 20%. If you look at the percentage contribution of mining in India's GDP, it is around 2%. Okay, but any developing country, say for example Australia, it is 15%, right? China, it is around 9%. Okay, so 2% is very meager. And if you don't get commodity for a sort of country with 130 crore population and with a huge demand, if you go on importing the things, then gone case. That is what which is happening in India today, right? Today you are importing copper, you are importing oil. You are not allowing people to produce, correct? And you are the maximum importer of gold. But you have huge geological reserve and resources. But, because of whatever it is, mainly because of the policy paralysis, the exploration, the mining has not happened. Today's 5 trillion economy, what Mr. Narendra Modi, our beloved Prime Minister, says, it can happen immediately. The moment we allow the stoppage of importing of raw materials or importing of commodity rather. Okay. Oil import can go down to less than 50%. Gold import today, it can go down to less than 70%, provided we start mining. Okay. So this is what is the order of the day. If the for commodity, the GDP percentage share of the GDP in commodity, if it goes to from present 2% to 5% level, okay, it will contribute $500 billion economy, $500 billion to Indian economy. That is the strength. So I think in India, what has happened is there is a huge amount of revolution which has taken place in IT, huge amount of revolution which has taken place in in digitization. Okay, but of course it has to take place further. Infrastructure revolution has just started, but it has to happen now, correct? And the revolution in terms of commodity, that is the mining and processing. So this revolution has to happen to get us to the level of 5 trillion.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Stanton, can you hear us now? If you have the
Yes,
question,
yes.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my net dropped. Thank you, sir, for such an insightful session. So, my question is pertaining to I worked in a manufacturing auto ancillary firm. So I know that procurement of material, transport of raw materials is a big issue. Now, when you're supplying imports and exports, at the height of COVID, when all the brakes were put on transport, how did you all deal with that, and how did that affect your production? What was the opportunity that you saw in that at that point in time? Because I'm sure that it really was a unplanned activity for almost everyone.
Yeah, thanks for the question. In fact, it is a good question. You see, initially there was no clue actually what to do. All of a sudden, the supply chain management or supply chain logistics was almost at zero, and for us, we use rail, we use road, we use the river, we use ship, right? All short of and also RoRo, that is the road and rail put together. Am I audible now? Something has happened.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
No, something has happened in the video.
Yes, sir. We are not able to see you.
I am also unable to see anybody. You can see each other?
Yes, sir. We can
Yes,
see
sir.
each other, and we can hear you, sir.
Oh, there is some problem.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. It can now. Okay. So after that, when the business started moving, rail was not an issue, but the issue was basically the road. Even sheep also, initially there was a huge amount of issue because there was a quarantine guideline. Even the sheep from certain bandars, certain what do you call port, if they are touched, that the moment they enter to the Indian water, you'll have to have 14 days of quarantine. Right? Just imagine the quantum of, like these are the big ships, cargo ships, and if you have a 14 days quarantine, who is going to pay them the money? Who is going to pay the demurrage cost? So there was a lot of issues which cropped up during that time, correct? And then we all, not only my company Vedanta, but I think all the companies that time, they have gone back to the government. They have requested the government, and then as government also was getting some sort of getting to learn, because for them also it was new thing, right? Some of the person they were, I mean, in enthusiasm, they have given a sort of notice, and that created a ripple. And then, after learning what ripple they have created by giving those type of notice, and then, further refining of that notice had to happen. So I'm thankful to the government during that time, like they also, since they were in the learning mode, they also were quite receptive on learning and then trying to change the things. So that is point number one. Then coming back to the road movement, again, there was a government issues, because one state to another state, how they were behaving with the drivers. Initially there was an issue, and then they have opened it. Okay, they also understood that, like it cannot be done. But there was a huge amount of issue in terms of the numbers, because many people, the drivers also, they are also human beings. They have also gone back to their houses. Drivers are not there. So ultimately, what has happened during those days was there is a consolidation of the road transport which has happened. Say, for example, earlier days, like say if there are some 15 different business partners is to come for lifting our material, and each and everybody was having around 100, 150 trucks. Okay. And then the consolidation happened. One person was having around 200, 250 trucks instead of 100 trucks earlier. Okay. Instead of, 10 different business partners, only 3 business partners were there with me, and they started working superbly. Okay. The turnaround time, because the people are less in the road, so turnaround time came down. So with less number of trucks, it really operated beautifully. So it really balanced, because the turnaround time came down because there are hardly any traffic on the road, right? So with less truck, it managed. Now what has happened? The turnaround time has gone up because the traffic is more, but by the time the trucks also came back onto the business. So that is where the beautiful balance is created, and that is how I think nowhere in our country the business has really disrupted. Have I answered your point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good to know, sir. Thank you.
Sir, we have a question from Kunal Nayak. What newly arisen opportunity as a result of COVID interests you the most?
No, I think, see, I'll tell you, one is the platform which we are using, Zoom platform. Okay. This Zoom platform or Microsoft platform was there pre-COVID also, right? And let me tell you, in all across Vedanta, whether it is India, UK, or South Africa or Zambia, or all continent, we are there. And we must be having near about, say, 250 offices where the beautiful telepresence connections are there, and each telepresence room was costing not less than, say, 4 to 5 crore. It is like a sort of virtual thing where you can get connected at any point of time all across. Okay, and as if like people are sitting in front of you. But then you will have to go and sit in that room. Okay. Now, after COVID, what has happened? After COVID, I'm having the meeting where I'm not going out of my cabin. I'm sitting in my cabin and having meeting all across. Correct. This is the new normal. This is the new normal, absolutely new normal. And the entire investment of more than, say, 150 or 200 crore all across, whatever we have done to make this telepresence facility, it has all become redundant because we don't use it anymore. And I feel that this is much better because you can do it from wherever you want. So this is something, like not only this, I've just given this as an example. Second example is the way the webinars are coming. Like earlier days, even in the government meetings also, we used to travel to Delhi so frequently. And today, the bureaucrats are becoming very open. They are ready to have a sort of face-to-face conversation in a platform like, virtual platform like this. So I think this saves a lot. Third, this thing which really attracts me is the way Supreme Court started functioning. There is a huge amount of, traveling used to happen when the court cases are there. But today the court cases started happening virtually. So traveling has stopped. Now, someone may say that, if the traveling has stopped, then what happened to the airline industry? What happened to the hotel industry? But that is a different topic. I'm sure, the moment opening happens, people will start traveling, but not for this purpose, but maybe for some more fruitful purpose. So these are the, things which really come as a sort of new normal thing, which really motivates me. And I believe that, like this is the thing which is going to be staying, which is there to stay.
Right, sir. Sir, if you have some more time, then we can take a couple more questions.
Maybe 5 minutes max.
All right, so we'll take up one last then. The question is from Anubhav Srivastava. What are some new technologies wherein Vedanta is looking forward in 2021 as far as operations is concerned?
See, we have started a campaign actually, okay, and that is called Pratham. This is a total digitization campaign what we have started all across Vedanta. And in fact, BCG is the group who is helping us in that. And this time, I mean, we have got all the system in Vedanta as far as the financials, reporting, whether it is S4, whether it is HANA, whether it is SAP's top-notch version, everything is there. But what we found that, apart from the financial reporting system, the actual from where we get or earn the money, that is the shop floor, there the IoT system is missing. And therefore, what we have done is, we have created almost 7 verticals of the operation, right? Say, operation vertical in the sense, one will be mining, second is milling, third is hot metal handling, fourth is blast furnace operation, fifth is coke plant operation, sixth is power plant operation, right? Seventh is the shipping operation. Like that, not 7, in fact, 11 verticals. All across Vedanta, we have made on the operations 11 verticals. And then we have created project owner, okay, in all our businesses, right? We have got 7 major businesses, out of which Sesagua is one. So, we have created project owners, and along with BCG, we started a sort of campaign like which are the areas where we want the help of IoT, okay? And in all those areas, wherever the IoT's help is required, where we want to do is how we want to make our life simple, right? And obviously, when there is an investment, obviously there has to be some payback, okay? So basically what we are trying to do is, where am I today, okay, without the presence of IoT, and where I would like to be tomorrow for that particular segment. So therefore, I mean, not one technology, there will be a varied of technology. And for that, we have roped in not only the big IT companies or big IoT companies, but we have also roped in almost 55 startups. Okay, and we believe that, like the startups will be the key, and the startups will be able to really add value in our, day-to-day IoT systems. So that is how that our digitization drive, that is the Project Pratham, is taking shape in our company. And that will be the case for 2021.
Great, sir. So thank you for sharing with us your experience and providing a great learning opportunity, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and making our event a successful one.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice to meet all of you.
Thank you, sir.